Hello everyone, welcome to Resonant News. I'm gonna show you 3 traps which India has laid for China, but it did not do it alone. It did it with America and Japan's assistance. So what are these 3 traps? Trap number 1. The sonar surveillance system in the Indian Ocean region maintained by India that is part of a bigger fishhook laid by America and Japan. Trap number 2. The Iranian blunder, a $400 billion deal that China has signed with Iran. Trap number 3. The anti-India entities which were being entertained by China are now being stifled, and it has burnt a hole in China's pocket, and I'll show you how. Now that you know the 3 traps, stay with me in the video and I'll show you how these strategies were executed. Let us begin.
China and India share 3,488 kilometers long border, but a belligerent China had been a constant headache for India. China is involved in many nefarious activities to subvert India, be it funding Pakistan's spy agencies to carry out operations within India, stoking flames of resentment among the tribals, and funding terrorists called Maoists, or using communists within India to have a political influence over Indian government. But then, India is not the only country which is victim of China's subterfuge. For India to grow, it had to whittle down China's excessive influence inside India, as it was impeding India's growth. So, a strategy was devised. As early as 2015, the Indian government had put this strategy into effect. But for obvious reasons, none of it was discussed explicitly in the public domain. Most of it was done surreptitiously. But in 2020, 5 years since the foundation of the plan was laid, things are more evident, yet the chances are you have missed it. The first trap came to light when an eyeball-grabbing news in the first week of July came to light that Japan had decided to change its age-old state secret law to share intelligence with UK, India and Australia. This was only a tiny part of the real developments behind the curtain. The much speculated US-Japan-India fishhook, also called a SAUCUS, is now ready. SAUCUS, the acronym which stands for Sound Surveillance Sensor Chain, which has now touched the Indian Andaman Nicobar Islands. This will effectively function as a counter wall against the Chinese submarines loitering in the Andaman and the deep South China Sea. SAUCUS sonar system came into existence in 1951 when US Navy found a solution to counter submarine warfare with Soviet. Arrays of hydrophones were laid to deter submarines, ships trespassing America's or its allies' oceanic boundaries. Now the arrays comprise of very sophisticated hydrophones and magnetic anomaly detectors on the seabed. This fishhook or SAUCUS is maintained by JMSDF and the US Navy personnel. JMSDF is Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Forces. India decided to join the fishhook network in 2015 after a 10-member ASEAN meeting. India's then Defence Minister Mr. Manohar Parrikar was a very far-sighted man. He had a pivotal role to play in the strategy. The process began by enhancing Indian Navy's capabilities. For example, Poseidon 8I Neptunes were bought and were deployed at India's forward military base in Andaman Nicobar Islands. Other than this, undersea optical fiber cable from mainland to Andaman Nicobar Islands were laid. Simultaneously, a network of seabed-based surveillance sensors were put on the seabed from Indira Point of Andaman Nicobar Islands to Sumatra in Indonesia. This was the point up to which US and Japan's fishhook SAUCUS had extended till very recently. But now, the fishhook is bigger and better. So Japan sharing its intelligence with India and carrying out exercises in Indian Ocean were part of this bigger game plan to trap China and track its movements in the sea.
So let us move to trap number 2. I call it the Iranian blunder.
China's unbridled enthusiasm to corner India led to a landmine which is worth $400 billion. This is a deal China signed with Iran very recently. According to the deal, China will invest into oil, gas and petrochemical industries in Iran for next 25 years. Though the pact was signed in July 2020, it was first proposed to Iran by Chinese President Xi Jinping in 2016. That year, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi had also visited Iran to sign the Chabahar Port Treaty. India's strategy is to counter China in Iran and turn CPEC into a failed project. So, what is CPEC? CPEC stands for China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which is part of China's ambitious Belt and Road Initiative. CPEC, according to reports, is at least worth $62 billion. But India has vehemently opposed CPEC since its inception, as it crosses the disputed territory called POK, or Pakistan Occupied Kashmir. As it was difficult to convince China from backing off from the project, India devised a plan to make it costlier for China. Gwadar port that lies in southwest coast of Balochistan is part of CPEC, but Balochistan has been witnessing an incessant amount of struggle between Pakistani forces and Baloch rebels who want an independent Balochistan. The repeated attacks by Baloch rebels has forced China to secure its projects in Pakistan and also led it to look for alternatives. 200 kilometers from Gwadar port in Pakistan is the Chabahar port, which is being developed by India in Iran. But be it the railroad project in Gwadar port or the port in general, the slow progress in the project led China to jump into Iran, assuming it will snatch away India's slice of pie. But it seems India had no intention to develop Chabahar from the very beginning. This is why China has invested $400 billion into a white elephant. By doing so, clearly China has spread itself too thin.
So let us move to trap number 3. India has to wage a war on 3.5 fronts, on all its borders and a war within India. This is against all the entities which are working against India, and most of these entities have been in the past entertained by China. So what is India doing to wage this war? Let us see.
China has not just been intruding India's borders, but it has been supporting the Maoist, communist and urban Naxal nuisance inside India since very long. While Maoists are proxy Chinese soldiers who get arms and ammunition from China, urban Naxals are intellectuals who can be professors, media persons or celebrities who have China's monetary backing. Previous Indian governments under Indian National Congress had been excessively lenient towards Maoists and urban Naxals. Such kid glove treatment emboldened the Maoists, and in 2009 they held a Rajdhani train hostage for 9 hours, but the UPA government could do zilch. Such activities continued for very long. Maoists later joined hands with Pakistan-backed terrorists and made incessant attacks on Indian Defence Forces. This is why in one of his speeches, Indian Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat mentioned 3.5 fronts. 3 fronts on the border and half a front within India. After Modi government took over, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh promised Maoist nuisance will be nullified in next 4 to 5 years. Since then, myriads of Maoists have surrendered or have been terminated by defence forces as the kill ratio has gone up, while the dangerous urban Naxals like Gautam Navlakha and Sudha Bharadwaj are behind the bars. So China's attempt to subvert India has been watered down by the Modi government. At this point, it is important to mention that many Maoists get support by local politicians who do so for their own selfish reasons. For example, Mamata Banerjee's government in the state of West Bengal reduced the jail term of a pro-Maoist leader, Chhatradhar Mahato, so that he could help her for election campaign. Such ugly nexus between local politicians and anti-India entities must be exposed and action should be taken to whittle down their influence. Let us hope this bit too gets done pronto.
India has always been considered a soft power, and this is exactly why India's enemies did not expect such far-sighted strategies from India. But India has proven its enemies wrong. Whatever I have mentioned in the videos is already out there in the open, but not everyone has been able to join the dots. Hope I've been able to show you the bigger picture. If you liked the video and you enjoyed it, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Do support our channel for more such videos on different topics from strategic affairs to ancient wisdom. We are Resonant News.